Okay guys, we will start the unit number 2. It's about the programming. Okay, now we will create our program. It is a process very important because all the application that you use was made in one language. There exist so much languages, but we will use here, or we will start with Visual Algory. Okay. Well, you need to know what is the methodology for solving problems. You need to understand first that the first step to create a program is use the analysis of a problem. Yes, you need to understand what is the problem or what is the program for. Yes, you need to understand what the program will do. Okay, you need to understand what the program will do. Okay, well, when you understand that, you need to know what is the input of the program. What is an input? Input is something that the person that we will use the program need to type to run the program. Yes, for example, I don't know, if you are creating a program that we will calculate the adding of two numbers, the input of that program are two numbers. Now you need to understand what is the output of the program. Okay, for example, for that program that calculate the adding is the output of that program. Okay, now when you understand that, you are making an analysis. Now you need to design the solution. How? Creating an algorithm. You need to create something that need to be designed that is descending. Why? You need to follow the steps in order. Yes, so you need to create a solution designed by a descending order, and you need to create the algorithm. Now finally, you need to solve the problem on the PC. You need to create a program, coding a program. You need to execute the program and check the program. Yes, this is all the steps that you need to do. Okay, what happened with the analysis? It is necessary to know in detail what is it to be solved. That is for what we are going to create our algorithm. Yes, what are we going to do? What data do we have? What data are we going to calculate? Yes, now the solution, the design, how are we going to solve our problem? Yes, how will we solve it? We did it by hand. Yeah, you need to understand first how you will find the solution if you did it by hand. Yes, to understand the steps. Okay, so for the descending design, we must think that it follows in an order. Yes, remember, you need to follow the steps in order. You need to eliminate the unnecessary steps. It not always possible, but in sometimes it's possible. And what steps give the solution to the problem? You need to focus only on the step that give the solution. Okay, you need to create the algorithm. It's a simple series of instructions that are carried out to solve the problem. Yeah. Well, an algorithm need to be precise. There must be an order in which the steps are carried out. It's important, very important. Need to be defined. No matter how many times it's executed, it must give the same result. If the program adds, always make an add. Yes. Well, need to be finite. What it means that it can't be infinite. Yes. The program need to end in some moment. Now the resolution on the PC. You need to create the program using the instruction of the language. You need to start the program, execute the program, and check if the program do the old things that you need. Okay. Okay, what is a program? It's a code of instructions that carry out an operation on the computer. Yeah. Parts of a program, you need to understand the three parts. Well, you need to memorize all the parts of a program because it will be used in all the rest of the course. Yes, so it's very important to know the three parts and need to follow in order that parts. Yeah. The first one is the input. What is an input? Is the data that the program read or the data that the user type. Yes. The second one is a process. The process can be operations, conditionals, loops, etc., etc., etc. Yeah. It depends of the program. And the output. What is the output? The output is the information of the data that you are writing as result. Yes. Okay. Now we will see what is the structure on a program of an Algory. Yeah. Okay. You need to make first the variables declaration. What is that? We will explain that with a sample to understand that. Yeah. But you need to remember the first thing that you need to do in Algory is declaration of the variables. Okay. The second one, you need to create the start and end block. Yeah. And inside of the start and the end block will be the program body, the input, the process, and the output. Yes. And remember that all the instructions in Algory are lowercase. Okay, the declaration of variables, the ID. Algory uses three kinds of data: the integer, entero, double, flotante, string, character. Yeah? All the instructions in Algory are in Spanish. How do you can declare variables? You need to first define what kind of variable will we use. For example, entero, flotante, or character. Now you need to use the space bar, and now type the name of the variables. Exists a rules to name the variables. Need to start with a letter. It can be in lowercase or uppercase. Yes, but need to remember that the first character of the name of a variable, you need to start with a letter. Now you can use letter, numbers, and underscore. Yeah, like your ID. And remember, you can't use the name of instructions as a variable. In the next sample, we will see how it works. Yeah. This is an example: entero, space number 1 comma space number 2 comma space add and semicolon. Yes. Okay, the start and the end block. You need to type inicio. Now you will type brace, open brace. Now inside you need to type the input, the process, and the output of the program. You need to close the brace and type fin. Yes. Remember, here exists that arithmetic operators is very similar that the ones that we use in Excel. The adding, the plus, subtraction, minus, asterisk, slash, percent, and the power is a correct character. Yeah, similar. Now we will use the comparison operators in the future. You need to know that that symbol means equal, that less than, greater than, less than or equal, greater than or equal, or does not equal. Yeah. Logical operators. Maybe we let's not see to all the exercise about the logical operators, but this is the operators in Algory. Yeah. Okay, now this is the instruction. Make the source code of a program in Visual Algory that calculates the sum of two numbers. The input data is number 1 and number 2. Okay. Using the steps, problem definition, adding two numbers. Input specifications, the input, the number 1 and number 2, and the output, the adding of the sum. Okay, now to create the algorithm, you need to read the number, add them, and show the result. Yes, this is the only step that you need to do. You need to create an analysis. How? Okay. Always I will say we will use block the notas or notepad for that. The input process, the output. Yeah, and we need to see how you calculate that in Excel to understand what is the output and what is the input. Okay, for example here, I will calculate the adding of two numbers. Yes, we will calculate the adding of the numbers. Okay, this is the first number, the second number, and you need to calculate the adding of that. So you need to type the equal that cell plus that cell. Yes. Okay, what is the input here? The input are the data that you can type and retype and retype, and the program is still working. For example, here, if I type here in that cells, only that two cells, the program is still working. What happens if I type here? The program can't work. Yeah. So this is the input data. Okay. What is the process here? What the program do? An adding. This is the process, the calculation of an adding. Okay. And what is the output? This is the output, the solution of that program. Okay. So you need to understand all the parts of a program. So here, what is the input for my first program? The input at number 1 and number 2. Okay. If you make the same process like in Excel, here will be like that. Yes, but remember, in Algory we will use variables. What is a variable? It's a space of memory that you can store something. What happened in Excel? Excel have variables? Yes, Excel have so many. Every cell is a space for that, is a variable. Yes, so when you type that formula, store in that cell. Yeah, it's a variable. Here in Algory you need to specify what variable will be stored that calculus. Yeah, adding, for example. Yeah, remember that you need to specify what variable we will store that calculus. Yeah, and the output, what happened with the output? Remember, this is the process, but you need to see, you need to watch what is the result. So you need to show, yeah, you need to write the result with the output. What is the result in add? Yeah, you need to understand that steps for all the programs that we will create. Okay, well, now we will start Algory. You can start Algory or you can download it from Teams, where files, you get in, and on the folder class materials and Algory folder, you can download all the files that you need to execute Algory and double click on the exe or the app visual algory.x. Okay, well, when you open it, appears that maybe appears all of this. This is not necessary, only a key in C mode, professional, and the school. Okay, now remember what is the first thing that you need to do in Algory. Here, declaration of variables. Yes, it was a sample. This is the sample that we need to do. Yes, what is the entero or integer is this is numbers that use only integer numbers. What is an integer number? It's a number without decimals. Okay, so this is our first program. We will start with something easy. So we need to type E. I need to hold the shift key and space bar, and appears the magic. Yes, again you need to type E and hold down the shift key and space bar. Yeah, appears that. So here you will type number 1 comma space number 2 comma space add. Okay, this is the first step you need to do. yeah, declare variables. Okay, now we will start with the start and the end block. Okay, you need to type ini, again hold down shift and spacebar, and appears that structure. It's very easy, yeah. And remember that for the input of our program, always we'll type here, we will use that structure. Okay, always that you will use an input, you need to use that structure, and the output, always you need to type this. Yeah, remember that. So we will read one variable, yeah, one by one. So here L shift and space, yeah, what variable we will read? Number 1 and number 2, yeah. Number 1, one by one, L shift space. Number 2, yeah, this is our input here, yeah. We make the input. Now the process, this is the process, and need to add the semicolon here. Remember always that you calculate an operation, you need to finish with a semicolon, yeah. Now we make the input and the process. What remains? The output. Remember, we will use the instruction escribir or read. Sorry, write. Okay. ES shift space the add. Okay. Now this is our first program finished. Now you need to do that. You need to save the program. Yeah. For example, here I will save on the desktop exercise number 1. Okay. And if I will check on the desktop, what is appears here. This is my first program. The icon doesn't matter because you can double click on and open on the notepad, for example, but the important here, you need to open on Algory. Yeah, remember the Algory you didn't install it. Okay, it only runs because Algory can run without installing. Okay, now I will run that program. You need to click on the execute button and appears that in execution and simulating that program. What happened here? If you remember, you need to type the value of number 1 and number 2 because the program will read that variables. So okay, type 8 and another number and enter, and appears the adding. 8 plus 7 equals 15. Okay, this is the program running. Okay, Well, what happens if you have problems? For example, here, if you forget that semicolon, you click on the execute button, appears that error. Yeah. Remember, the almost all the structures use a semicolon to finish. Okay, and if you use, for example, here a lowercase, and the error says the variable number one is not declared. Okay, what happened here? What happened here? Yes, I declared it number one, but remember, you use a uppercase. If you use a uppercase here, you need to use the uppercase all the program. Yes, well, when you run the program, appears another two files, TBS and CIN. Okay, this is files that you need to use to run the program. If you delete it and run again, the program appears again. Yeah, so remember that when you create a program on Algory, you always will have 3 files for every program. Yeah, what happens if you need to open the program and you close Algory, for example? You double click on the files, appears another program. You need to get into and open it. Open here, look for the file, the exercise number one. Yeah, and this is all that you need to create your first program. Now you will create the exercise number 2, number 3, and number 4. Yeah, the first one was the sum of two numbers. The second one is a subtraction, number 3 a multiplication, and number 4 a division. Yes, this is the homework for that class. Okay, where is it? On the page 12 of the class notes. Okay, see you guys.